I have never been actually disappointed by the Pistons until this season. No, of course this isn't the worst they've been as a team in the 13 years I've been watching them. Even back when they signed Josh Smith, before we found out about the type of player he really was, I still wasn't too disappointed because this was a new team. There was still the doubt that things might not work out. But for a team that was just in the playoffs, a young team that was just in the playoffs, didn't have a bench at all, improve your bench a little over the offseason and keep all of these starters, keep the entire core, and most people had them pegged to finish around 5th in the Eastern Conference. This drop-off has been nothing but disappointing. So before I get into the recaps from last night's games, we're going to take a look at exactly what happened to the Detroit Pistons. Right off the bat, I can tell you one major thing that's wrong with this team is their defense. If you look at the rankings in opponents' points per game, they're right up there. They are ranked 6th at the moment in that category, giving up 101 points per game. Now, if you've watched the Pistons game in the last couple of months, off the rip, that doesn't sound right to you at all. I mean, it seems like just about every team that's going up against Detroit is dropping between 110 to 120 points on them. And you're right, they are. The only reason the Pistons are still in the top 10 for points allowed per game is because they were an extremely good defensive team, only giving up around 98 points per game, and I believe they're ranked 2nd in opponents' points per game around that time. So their defense these past couple of months has been trash, and then you have their offense. Now as a team, they're scoring just about the same amount of points per game that they were to start the season, and about the same amount of points per game they were scoring last season too, except they don't move the basketball. They'll get 1, maybe 2 passes in an offensive possession, and then they're done. I mean, they are ranked in the bottom 3rd of the league in assists per game at only 21. So there's proof for that right there. And here's the difference between a good offensive team and a bad one. A good offensive team will have that ball moving within the first 2 seconds of getting it past half court. A bad offensive team will wait till around 11, 12, 13 seconds left on the shot clock and then try and run a play, wasting around 6 to 7 seconds every possession. And by that time, you don't have much time left to make too many passes. And I'm just gonna come out and say it. Ball movement starts with your point guard, or at least your main ball handler. The guy dribbling the ball up the court every single possession. And for the Pistons, that's Reggie Jackson. A lot of Pistons fans are upset with Reggie Jackson. Since his return, the Pistons have gone 10-16. They were 11-11 before he came back and were actually starting to find a rhythm as they had just won 5 of their last 6 games. However, there are still some fans saying to give them some more time, that they'll figure it out, blah, 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 blah. You do realize that the season is halfway over, right? Exactly how much time are we supposed to give them to give it together? We know what the problem is. They know what the problem is. The only thing I don't know is why nothing's been done about it yet. Those 5 wins in 6 games, those were beautiful. The ball was moving and everyone was in a groove. We had 28 assists in the win versus Celtics, 28 assists in the win versus the Hawks, 26 assists in the win versus the Clippers, and then Reggie Jackson comes back and we get 16 assists and a loss to the Magic? I mean, what else is there to say? The problem is literally right there, and yet nothing's been done about it. SVG says that everyone except Stanley and KCP are available for trade, but at the same time he says he doesn't want to trade anyone. And also, why aren't you giving Stanley Johnson more minutes? I honestly don't understand why SVG says he won't trade him, but at the same time he won't play him. He's already one of the Pistons' best perimeter defenders, right up there next to KCP, and yet he'll get at most 15 minutes in a game. Speaking of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, he is the Pistons' best player. Hands down has been our best player this year. No disrespect to Drummond, because before Reggie came back in that 5 wins in 6 games, he was rolling too. But KCP, when he has the ball in his hands, he has been the better playmaker for the Pistons than Reggie Jackson. Back before Reggie came back, when the Pistons were playing their best basketball, he was getting between 20 and 25 points per game and dishing out like 7 dimes too, while still being the team's best defender. But now on to the fix though, because I could go on all day talking about how good KCP is or how bad Reggie Jackson is and blah 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 blah. But the fix is very simple. To trade Reggie. That's the fix. Trade Reggie and get a point guard that isn't as ball dominant. A point guard that knows how to run an offense. Maybe don't even get a point guard. If nothing's available, take whatever you can get. Start Ish again for now and put the ball back in KCP's hands more. It doesn't even matter at this point if the Pistons make the playoffs or not. Actually, with how good and how deep this draft is supposed to be, especially when it comes to point guards, I'm at the point where I'd rather see us back in the lottery than making another first round exit. That's about it though. I'm not going to call out anyone else on the team right now because honestly, I think they're all just about as fed up with Reggie as the Pistons fans are at this point. I mean, it's hard to play well when your point guard doesn't know how to run an offense. So that just about covers everything I want to say on the Pistons though. I could go on for hours and hours and hours talking about this team, but I'm gonna spare you guys. Let's just get into the recap portion of today's video. Isaiah Thomas scored 41 points on the night and 24 points alone in the fourth quarter to hold out the Pistons, who were trying to make a fourth quarter comeback. The Boston Celtics wound up getting the win 113-109. Andre Drummond continues to play really well against the Celtics though, as he tallies another 20-20 game. 28 points and 22 rebounds on the night, and on the season against the Celtics, he's averaging just about a 20-20 against Boston. In the team's first 3 meetings so far, Drummond is averaging 22 points and 19 rebounds per game. Reggie Jackson fouled out in just 28 minutes of play. I don't know how I feel about this right now if I was a Cleveland fan. I mean, yeah, you just lost to Dallas, but then again, they just beat the San Antonio Spurs the night before too. The Mavericks used a small ball lineup yesterday with Dirk at center and Barnes at power forward, but it was rookie point guard Yogi Ferrell who was out there putting in work. 19 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 steals for Yogi, as the Mavericks shocked the world by beating the Spurs and the Cavs on back-to-back nights. Dion Waiters follows up being named the Eastern Conference Player of the Week with another great performance in the Heat's 104-96 win over the Brooklyn Nets, their 8th straight win in a row. 19 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds for Waiters. In his last 10 games, he's averaging 19.5 points, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds per game. DeMarcus Cousins did just about everything he could possibly do to give the Kings this chance at winning, but it just wasn't enough to overcome the Embiid-less 76ers. 46 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 assists for Cousins. If only this guy had some actual talent around him. But like I said, they lost to Philly 122-119. 23 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 steals for Robert Covington, and Dario Saric tallied 17 points on 8 of 11 shooting to go along with 6 assists off the bench for Philly, as they finished the month of January 10-5. They had 10 total wins all of last season. My theory holds true. When Rubio shoots the ball well, the Timberwolves get a W. They beat the Orlando Magic last night 111-105. Rubio with 22 points and 8 rebounds and 8 assists on 7 of 16 shooting. And Towns and Wiggins combined for 50 points total. 23 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 blocks for Cat. Another dominant performance. And the Wolves have now won 8 of their last 11 games. A career high for point guard Mike Conley last night, as he scores the Suns for 38 points and also had 9 assists and 6 rebounds, as the Grizzlies get the 115-96 win over the Phoenix Suns. 22 points for Devin Booker on 6 of 20 shooting from the field though for the Suns. And that about wraps up all the action for the Day 98 recap of the 2016-2017 NBA season, and now it's time to get into the Player of the Day. Yesterday, you guys selected Paul Millsap and his 37 points, 19 rebounds, and 61 minutes of play in the quadruple overtime win over the New York Knicks as your player of the day. And here are today's nominees. You have Mike Conley in his career high 38 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds. Isaiah Thomas, 41 points, including 24 in the fourth quarter to go along with 8 assists. Karl Anthony Towns in his 23 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists. Or Eastern Conference Player of the Week, Dion Waiters in his 19 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds. As always, you guys can go vote right now on the Amino Hardwood NBA app. The link to the poll will be in the description box below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like on it if you did, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't for more daily NBA videos. And until tomorrow, keep getting the Bucks, Team SDC, and I'm out of here. Peace!